Oi, what's going on? My name is Chester and today I'm sitting on this comfy sofa to talk to you about the top 10 plus 1 bonus psychological reasons why you might feel like your chess level is stuck. I'm a holder of the FIDE Master title and I've been coaching chess for the last 9 years, so I've been helping players like you to improve your chess. Besides that, I also have a degree from sports psychology, so I've essentially spent the better part of the decade researching and observing why do some players improve very quickly and some players get stuck at certain rating thresholds. So here I am to talk to you about all of the possible psychological reasons why you're not improving as much as you could. Reason number 1, you are too obsessed with your rating and you need to stop. Because constant worry about your rating that you haven't progressed as much as you would like to can actually hinder your performance. And now how can we address this? How can we set better goals? Well, what I would say, you need to set process goals as opposed to rating goals. And what do I mean by this? Well, these are goals that are related to mastery of chess as opposed to the rating that will come with time. If I could give you an example, let's say improving my repertoire against the first move d4 or learning how to play bishop endgames. That's exactly what you need to set. You don't need to set, I want to get 1200, 1300. What you need to set is I want to learn this, that will help you to improve as a chess player, and eventually it will reflect on your rating. Reason number 2, fear of making mistakes. Well, mistakes will come and they will go. And that's a story probably as old as the chess game itself. You need to embrace your mistakes as learning opportunities. You can't be just like, okay, I made a mistake, whatever, I'm gonna forget about it. No, you need to learn something from it. And you need to learn how to handle these positions or these situations so you don't make the same mistake again. But the mistakes will come, and that's perfectly normal. That actually means that you can learn something from it. Because if you played only ideal games, if your games were perfect, you wouldn't have any chance to improve as a chess player, right? So that means that you need to focus on mistake as learning opportunities as opposed to thinking of them they reflect on you as a chess player. That's not true. That's not true. They show you what you can improve, then you just need to focus on that. Reason number 3, playing blitz or bullet all the time. Well, you need to play longer games, that's the reality of it. Every single strong chess player will tell you that. Because the way how you improve in blitz or bullet is actually by improving in rapid or classical time controls first. And then you just need to speed up your thinking. That's basically what you need to do. But you can't do it the other way around. You can't just play a bunch of bullets or blitz and expect that you will improve. It is enjoyable. I know the adrenaline rush, it is really enjoyable. I enjoy playing bullet or blitz myself. So I'm not telling you to stop playing these time controls completely. However, you need to focus on mainly playing rapid and classical, because then you can analyze these games and actually learn something from them. I know that I had a couple of instances of working with students who never really played any rapid and they just binged played bullet or blitz. But then what can you learn from these games, right? Nothing. Whenever I asked them anything, they were like, oh, I was low on time, yeah, for the entire game, right? So that means that you need to play longer time controls. So you have enough time to really show your abilities and learn how to calculate properly, how to make sound strategic decisions, because you can't make them in blitz or bullet games because you don't have enough time. That's basically it. And if you try to replicate something like this in faster time control, the problem is that you won't be able to execute them properly. Basically, when you play blitz or bullet, especially at a higher level, you mainly rely on intuition. But if you're a beginner or slightly advanced player, I would say you don't have the intuition developed yet. And maybe that's why you might not be happy with your abilities in blitz or bullet. But it's completely fine. That's perfectly normal. Because now you need to learn how to think properly. Then it is just about speeding up your thinking process. Reason number 4, you're not patient enough. Maybe now you're thinking after reason number 3 that, you know, you're not the type of player who would play blitz or bullet all the time. You're essentially playing blitz and bullet all the time. Chess in the rapid time control. So that is actually technically putting you in a disadvantage because your opponent has more time than you do. You're still playing way too quickly. So you can't consider all the things that you should consider to actually play chess properly, or at least have a proper decision-making process, proper thinking process behind all of your moves. So you need to stop doing that. You need to start taking your time because that's why you have your time. So you need to take it. There is one thing that is a little bit tricky about it though. Obviously, you don't want to get into a lot of time trouble. And, you know, that would be the exact opposite. And there are ways of how to improve that. It's actually better than not taking your time at all. So if you're worried about getting into too much time trouble, don't worry about it at all, because it is actually better and it is easier to solve. But now going back to not being patient enough. I know that sometimes your opponent provokes you into doing this by not being patient enough themselves. You don't want to embrace your opponent's time management in the sense of playing as quickly as them. You just forget about them. They do not exist. Well, they do exist, but you just forget about it. And you keep the same tempo of thinking properly, but not getting under too much time pressure. Reason number 5, you're not focused enough because you're playing chess on a bus, at work where your coworkers talk to you, or possibly in a strip club. Well, you just can't focus, right? You just can't focus. And now what should you do instead then, if you are distracted? Well, you shouldn't play. You shouldn't play if you can't commit to play an entire game of chess without being distracted. If you can't commit, what you can do, if you still want to do something chess related, well, you can solve some puzzles, for example. You can solve some puzzles on chess.com or light chess. You can review some lines in a Chessable course, or even possibly watch a short YouTube video like this one. But you shouldn't be playing. Not because it is just gonna make you play worse. It's also because you would develop a bad habit of playing when you're distracted. And that means that even under ideal conditions, when you can be focused, you will still be distracted. Reason number 6, you are not playing enough. And what does it mean to actually not play enough? I would say that it is quite difficult to generalize, but anything between 3 and 6, 7 rapid games a week or classical games a week should be enough. And now, why do you need to play enough? Well, first of all, you have games that you can learn from. Second of all, you're as sharp as you can be, so you're seeing all of the tactics quickly, and your thinking process is fast. Now, you might argue, well, I'm spending a lot of time watching all of these videos and studying these Chessable courses and reading all these books. Well, this is amazing. There are a lot of concepts that will help you to improve your chess. But the problem is that if you don't apply these concepts, if you don't try them in real-life scenarios, first of all, you will never learn how to apply them. Second of all, you will actually forget them in a couple of months. That's the way how it works. I don't know if you ever learned a second, third, fourth language, but you probably know that if you haven't used it in a while, you just forgetting everything. It is a nightmare. After a couple of months, your level drops from really high level to really basic level. And it's the same way with chess. Basically, this learning is building these neural pathways in your brain. But if you don't travel through these neural pathways for some time, you're just going to die. They're going to disappear. So that means that learning has to be equal to practicing, to playing. Reason number 7, which is the exact opposite of the reason number 6, you are playing too much. What does it mean to play too much? I would say that anything over 4 or 5 games a day is probably a little bit too much. It depends on how long the games are and also how you're feeling physically. If you can focus, if you're feeling really well on that day, carry on playing. You're on a long winning streak. Yes, of course, make the most of it. But if, for example, you drop 3 pieces in the first 2 games, I would just call it a day and just relax. You can play tomorrow or the day after. It's entirely up to you. But yeah, on that day, I would just stop playing. Reason number 8, you're tilting and you're a gambler. You're trying to win all of the rating back. And it is very much correlated to the reason number 7. Because if you're playing too much and you're losing a lot of games and you're feeling like, one more game, I will try to win the rating back. No, don't do that, because you're a gambler. And this is exactly the same as gambling addiction. Just instead of trying to win money, you're trying to win the rating back. And it's one of the unhealthiest habits that I've ever seen in chess. You shouldn't be doing it. You should just call it a day. Reason number 9, negative self-talk. Whenever you make a mistake, you just tell yourself, oh, I'm such an idiot. I just hung a queen, or I missed the checkmate. And that's the worst thing that you can do. Because believe it or not, your brain actually perceives this as something that someone else told you. Your brain, your own brain, can't distinguish between these two things. So that means that this is definitely going to affect your self-confidence, and you're just going to feel worse and worse. Instead, embrace it as a learning opportunity. Take it from a different perspective. If I've never made this mistake, I would never learn how to not to make the same mistake again. So please stop using negative self-talk, because it is really hindering your development. Reason number 10, isolation. If you don't interact with fellow chess players, you feel like you're very lonely in what you're going through. Whether it is, I can't reach the rating where I want to get, or I'm making the same mistakes again, or now I just dropped 100 rating points in the last month. Interacting with other chess players will actually help you to get some perspective. Because we've all been there, man. Grandmasters, international masters, FIDE masters, world champions, amateur players, players at OTB tournaments. Everyone has been there. Reason number 11, you're not giving yourself enough time. There are different learning curves, man. Like, there are players who just peaked very early on and then they couldn't break certain rating. And then there were players who didn't skyrocket as early, but progressively over time, they improved a lot. Even if you dip, that's still part of the process, man. You need to understand it, you need to embrace it. It is perfectly normal. The key thing is that you give yourself enough time and you're not too stressed about it. As I said, it is different for everyone. Everyone has different potential. Everyone peaks at different times, at different stages of their development. That is perfectly normal. Take your time. You're doing more than well. Just enjoy learning and improving in chess. That's the key. Okay, and this is it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comment below, what do you struggle with the most when it comes to chess psychology?